Hi everyone, this is Suburban Prepper. I'll talk about what seeds I'm planting for my Suburban Prepper garden. This year I'm going to give white lima beans a shot. Last year I grew peas and green beans, so I think I want to try some lima beans. Is it lima or lima? I don't know. I got a couple of these packs and we're going to see what grows. I've developed an affinity for growing sweet potatoes. I started growing them last year. I'm going to grow some from seeds, and we're going to see what happens. I had a good harvest of sweet potatoes last year, and I'm going to grow a lot of them. That's going to be one of my main crops. I'm going to try growing some ginger. Has anyone ever grown ginger before? It's going to be my first time. I've acquired such a taste for it that I think I want to grow it my own. It'll be interesting for me. I've never done it before. Got to read up on it a little bit more, of course. And then I also have some sweet potato slips. What you do is you get the slips, you just put them in soil and they take off. I also, in my garage, I'm doing an experiment trying to grow some of my own slips from last year's sweet potatoes, or some people call them yams. Next, we got some beef sugar. I want to try and grow some beet sugar just to see if I can get pure sugar from it, just to see how it's going. Okay. Beets grow pretty easily. To me, it's a cover crop. And speaking of cover crops, what I like to grow to prevent weeds around certain vegetables are carrots. So you grow these carrots around everything else, and you don't get as many weeds. It works great in my Suburban Prepper garden. And this year I'm going big with some giant tomatoes. 20 seeds. I'm going to try and grow them, 20 plants. We'll see what we get. Of course, perennial zucchini. I always have luck growing zucchini. And, I'm not growing corn, but you can grow zucchini. You can grow beans together. And, well, what would happen is the beans would grow up the corn stalk, but I'm not going to have a corn stalk. But you can grow zucchini with beans quite easily. So I'm going to do that. And not last but least is eggplant. I'm not a big fan of eggplant, but family likes it, so I'm going to grow it. I grew it last year, and I was quite successful. I'm going to plant earlier this year by a month than I did last year to have more success growing and more time. The weather seems to be standing up. And that, I think, is all I'm going to be growing this year. Any suggestions about what else I should grow? I don't know. So that's all my stuff that I'm going to grow. I'm working on getting the soil ready. I like to add chicken manure to it and add the compost from last year into it and till it around and get it ready. It doesn't take much work. I have like 40 different grow things, so I got to go through each one and do it. And I'm going to fill up every garden stand that I have, maximize soil, maximize growth. It's going to be some work. So on to the other side of prepping is shooting. I'll go over, this is just a rifle scope, okay? You can't you can't banish or show a weapon on during a live stream, so I'm not doing that. All I have here is a nice scope. Primary arms, second focal point, which means that when you zoom in, the reticule doesn't get larger. And that's what I like. I don't like the reticule getting larger. And one thing I'm going to have to start getting used to is using the light on these reticules. I'm going to replace this scope with one other scope that I have that I'm just not enjoying using anymore. Or I might put it on a backup scope. I don't know. But this is made by Primary Arms. It's one of the higher end scopes. I've never had a Primary Arms scope before. So we'll see how it works. I hope it works good. Hoping to take it out tomorrow and zero it on one of my AR-15s. We'll see what the weather, well, it doesn't matter if it's raining, I can shoot in the rain. But I don't like to do garden stuff in the rain. So that's my, one thing I have that doesn't really work quite well, or maybe I'll try it on this scope, is a camera attachment where I can record video from my phone onto the scope instead of going like this and trying to get it and shoot and get it. And another idea that I had is I got, my DJI drone. So I'll have my drone up here and I'll be shooting and the drone will be recording. It's just a nice view. And I could do that outside of the gardening too, just to have an aerial view of my prepper's garden, that I like to call it. So this is my week, getting ready for the garden. Let's talk about composting, because I do compost, but not like I should. I live in the suburbs, okay? Any fruit or vegetable can be composted. Paper towels technically can be composted. Paper plates can be composted. But I don't really compost everything that I should. Since we fertilize the grass, I don't want to compost the grass, but technically your grass can be composted. I have a wood shedder. It's a small one for 1-inch wood. You can break that wood down, add it to your compost, because that's part of it turns into soil eventually. Break it down into dust. Cardboard. All these cardboards you get from online, you take the tape off or go buy, cut it up. And I did this before, and my cardboard turned into sweet potatoes, actually. The soil broke it down. It's basically wood, and it breaks down. The same with the sawdust. So you can compost cardboard instead of recycling it. Has anyone ever done that before? I have. And it works. It takes some time. Don't expect it to happen. If you have some soil and you put it in, it'll break it down, and the microorganisms go in, and it works. One thing that I do that's not everybody else does is I believe in electroculture. You've seen my videos maybe where I have a copper antenna about a foot high in the soil on the south end of the soil. And it's supposed to draw in the magnetic field from the earth into the soil to help rejuvenate the soil. I do that. The other thing that I do is when my plants are a little bit more stable, I spray some aspirin on it every couple of weeks. The ratio is supposed to be one grown aspirin, 325, to 2 gallons of water, and you just spray the plants, and that boosts the immune system of your plants. Now, I did it last year, and it didn't hurt anything, and I had some pretty good peas. I had some ton of sweet potatoes, so I'm going to do it again this year, every couple of weeks. But like I say, I like to use chicken manure, get that a couple inches into the soil, and I have some calcium spray for my tomatoes because they don't need to be low on calcium. So those are my two big things that I'm doing. Of course, I have my emergency water set up out in my backyard. So I have about 55-gallon drums of water that collect rain from the top of the house. It's good to have a backup for water. More of an experiment, really. And well, that's about all I got. I did a video today on foraging, and 5 plants that you can forage here in the Midwest. And go check it out. It's a cool video. I've been doing a lot of AR-15 videos since I've been going to the range shooting. And I have all sorts of AR-15s. I have long ones, I have short ones, I have big ones, and I have small ones. There is one company, though, that makes a 300 Win Mag AR upper for a AR-10 lower. And I do shoot 300 Win Mag, and I'd be interested in buying that and shooting it and getting my own lower for it and see how it works out. It's made by Bear Creek Arsenal. Has anyone ever heard of them? I don't know. But it's on my wish list. It's something I'm just looking at doing. The other thing I want to do is I still want to get that nighttime drone, thermal drone, and I realize you got to have a nighttime license to operate it. So it's almost futile right now to get a night drone that you can't even really use at night. I could probably just fly it in my backyard above, and that'd be about the limit of it. It'd still be fun to have. One thing I want to get, and that I'm interested in doing a video about when I do get it, is a true e-bike. These e-bikes, they have a battery on it, and you can pedal, and it'll assist with your pedaling, or you can just ride it like a moped, and it'll move the wheel for you. I tried doing that with my old bike, but the way my back's going, I can hardly get on that bike anymore. So I've been looking into getting an e-bike. I've been looking into getting an e-bike tricycle, an off-road e-bike tricycle. Now, those look pretty cool. I'll be like a kindergartner again, you know, with my tricycle. I used to have one of those when I was a boy. I'd have to have something that could go off-road, though. I mean, obviously not too much in the mud, or I could just carry it around. But that would be fun. Another project that I'm working on, I have all the parts for it. I'm just scared a little bit. I have a 200-watt inverter. I have 3 12-volt, 100-amp batteries. I have solar panels, 2 400-watt. No, they're 200-watt panels, so it's a total of 4. And they're collapsible, and they're not heavy. And then I have the solar controller, and I want to put all that together in a wagon. And with the wagon, I want to have, it's going to be a big wagon with some wood to hold everything together. And with the wagon, I want to have a tent so I could put the device in the tent. So when it rains, I can still use my portable power pack solar generator. To me, it becomes a generator when you have panels, a battery, an inverter, and the all the wiring all together. Other than that, it's all just separate pieces. I have all the wiring for it. I'm just afraid to get electrocuted. So I did buy a off switch for the battery. And of course, that's the last thing you turn on. So I could have everything connected, but keep the battery switch off. I've diagrammed everything that I want to do. It just, right now, it's garden season. So I think I'm going to do some more gardening. I'm pretty excited about the garden this year. I'm not going to plant any onions. And for some reason, I can never grow garlic to save my life. It never grows in my garden. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think maybe my garden's not rocky enough, but it's raised beds with soil that I brought in and compost. The other thing that I could not grow was blueberries. Could not grow blueberries at all. I could grow a ton of strawberries, and I don't think I want to grow any this year unless they come up, because we're going to try to max out on the lima beans or lima beans. That's what we're going to do. So you'll watch me from time to time. I might do a live feed just working on the garden. I've heard about people that do that, and it gets a lot of hits. I don't know. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel really going now. I'm really working on making more quality videos about prepping, various aspects to prepping. Now, everyone preps differently, right? I know the basic bushcraft skills, but I live in the suburbs. I'm not going to need to build a stand-to or a tent. I have running water. I know how to get emergency water. There's lakes around here. I mean, I live in a town that's named after a lake. I can grow my own food. Every year is an experiment for me to grow my own food. And sometimes I fail, like at garlic. I can grow tons of onions, but I'm not doing it this year. I do onions as cover crops, but I think I'm going to just max out on the carrots. The other component of my prepping is, of course, I have solar panels on my house and battery backup. And I like to have a portable system as a backup in case. The other part of my prepping is freeze drying. I have a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and I love making freeze dry videos. The last thing that I freeze dried was some ham and some ginger that became all crushed up. I'm trying to perfect my own ginger chew recipe, and round 2 so far is not so hot. But maybe round 3 will be better when I bring everything together. But anyway, I like to make freeze dry videos with my Harvest Right. I have a medium-sized one. I freeze dry meats and fruits and vegetables, shrimp. I've done some fish, cooked fish, but I won't do any raw meats. I can do raw vegetables all day. In fact, I think I don't like to eat strawberries fresh, but I love eating strawberries freeze dried. It's so crunchy and delicious. The garlic tasted pretty good freeze dried. It still has a nice hot kick to it, but I'm saving that for if I can perfect a recipe on making garlic chews, sugar-free garlic chews. I have the tapioca. I have the sugar-free sugar stuff. I just got to find the right combination proportionally. And it's not really out there that much. And then I tried to freeze dry a garlic chew that I made, and it didn't come out so good. It didn't need to be that dry. So lesson learned. You can freeze dry garlic all day, and that's great. But I tried to freeze dry this garlic chew that I made. And honestly, it was so disappointed. I wanted to still have its consistency, but it came out hard as a brick and crispy. So I think I can add that to my next attempt to make the perfect garlic, or no, ginger chew, not garlic. Yeah. So yeah, freeze drying is my thing. I do have a dehydrator. I don't really use it much. I have it as a backup. I mean, I have a freeze dryer. I'm going to maximize that first. The other component of my prepping is I have solar cookers that I've made some videos on. Well, I'll go in my backyard where it's nice and sunny. It can be freezing out though. I'll put I like to cook the meat in there. I have 2 solar cookers. So I fit 2 trays in there of meat, hamburger, steak, chicken, whatever it is. And it cooks it like it's cooking it in the oven. Problem is it doesn't cook ribs because ribs are too big. You got to cut the ribs up, get them smaller, but they would fit if you could do it. And you don't want to overstuff the trays, just appropriate. Now, the ultimate test that I had for my solar oven cooker is, will it cook rice? The answer is yes, it will cook rice. If it can cook rice, it can cook beans, it can cook anything else that's hard dried because the temperature in there goes super hot. But on both of my solar cookers, for some reason, the temperature gauge doesn't really read too well. I mean, it works. I check on it and it's steaming. So, it's above 100. It's definitely hot. I burnt myself once doing that. You got to put them in and then the sun radiates into it. And it's easy to clean. You just wipe it out with some water, let it dry out, and you're ready for the next thing. I like to use the tray so I don't spill a lot of stuff. I've made bacon in there before. It comes out pretty crispy. And bacon and eggs. There isn't much. I haven't done spaghetti. I don't see how I would cook spaghetti in the solar cooker unless it was already cooked and I was trying to make a baked spaghetti. And I haven't done bread, but there are recipes that you could do bread. I mean, it'll just fluff up and maybe some wheat bread or something. Who knows? The other part of my prepping is technology, obviously. I have a big collection of night vision devices, analog night vision, and thermal devices. And when I say analog, I'm talking not digital. Analog is better. They collect the photons from the sky, and you can see the image. And if it's real dark, you put on an IR light with your PVS 7 and 14s. I have one PVS 7, and I have some PVS 14s. And sometimes what we do is we just lay in the back of the truck and look up into the sky with the devices. Are pretty cool. Same with the thermals. I have a couple thermal scopes. You can pick up the heat signature of airplanes when they're flying around and other objects. Sometimes I'm wondering if I'm watching a UFO or not. I don't know. So technology is part of my preps. Yeah, I know how to walk around at night without devices. And of course, the other part of my preps is my gun shooting. I like to shoot guns. I like bolt action and semi-automatic. I'm not a big pistol person. I do have several pistols or sidearms, if you want to call it, 9mm and 22. And I have one shotgun. Shotguns aren't my favorite thing either. And I like to shoot the common calibers, 223, 5.56, 22 LR. 308, 300 Win Mag, going up the ladder a little bit, 50 cal BMG. And then my niche that I bought into was the 224 Valkyrie. It's a long range, small, that you can shoot on an AR-15 lower. You got to have a separate upper, which I do. And it can go out to 1,000 yards, unlike the 5.56, which can only go out to 500 yards. There are people say they can shoot their AR-15 1,000 yards. Yeah, you can. If you aim it up like that, you can definitely do that. But what are you going to hit? I mean, really, the side of a barn. That's not really practical shooting. So to me, that's the limit of the 223/5.56. Now the 308, on the other hand, that goes out, in my opinion, I limited it to 800 yards. With you can hit an object safely at 800 yards. Obviously, when you're hunting, you should be under 200, unless you're really good at it. I don't know. For my longer range, obviously, I have 300 Win Mag. I have a bolt action, and I have a 30-06. So that's out to my 1,000, 1,200 yard range. And like I said, I'm looking to get a semi-automatic 300 Win Mag upper. And I'll have to buy a lower separately, probably from PSA Arms or somewhere. And I have to send that to a gun dealer because that's the controlled device. You got to have a background check for that. And I can do that. Now, beyond 1,000 yards, or if you want to stop a vehicle, it's a 50 cal. You shoot the engine block and the other thing that's driving it, and that'll stop a vehicle. I have a single shot bolt action. It's a bolt action. It's not one of those breech ones. And I can shoot a couple rounds pretty quickly. I have a nice suppressor for my, well, I have a couple suppressors, but I have one for my 50 BMG. I have one for my 22s. I have one for 30 caliber and below, but nothing for my 9mm. I'm not quite sure which one to buy. I don't like to buy those kits where you can put different calibers in it. I just want one 9mm suppressor to just shoot 9mm. I don't want to shoot 45. I don't want to shoot anything else. I like what I like. I don't have a favorite company because all three of my suppressors are from different companies. So what's your favorite suppressor company? Do you have one? I don't know. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Or I won't do anything at all. Who knows? But I really need to get the prepper garden going. The weather has been pretty nice. The forecast shows nothing below freezing anymore. And that's what you need for plant growth. Last year, I tried to see if my carrots would survive the winter. Yeah, it got too cold. They did not make it. I tried. I tried last year to put a plastic bag over my gardens. It didn't work because when it rained, it just suffocated the plants. I mean, I do have some indoor. I tried to do an indoor garden in my basement one time with a greenhouse. It didn't work out, but I could definitely use that outside to lengthen my growing season. It's almost too late to do it. Maybe I'll try that in the fall to lengthen the growing season there. And I will put some crops in there or some bags or wherever and do it like that. I don't know. I like to have fun with my garden. So my question back to gardening is, what do you guys plan on planting this year? Anything weird, anything different? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I'm at the 30-minute mark. I think we're going to call it quits for tonight. Everybody have a good weekend.